Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to invite you to enjoy this seminar, which I hope you will, Reflecting and Refocusing 15 Years On, which begins discussions around the very important anniversary. We are privileged to be joined tonight by three of our executive ministers, the Justice Minister Claire Sugden, Chris Hazzard, who's Minister for Infrastructure, and Junior Minister Alistair Ross. You are very welcome, and we thank you for taking time out. I was going to say out of your busy schedules, which would be the norm, but it's actually time out of recess, and I'm sure, like many people in the room, you had plans to do other things, so thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We have many people in the room who've contributed a lot. In fact, looking around, there are people who have done so much in the last 15 years and who have played a big part and made a huge contribution to police reform and to the peace process. And I think, of course, we must consider the two together, because police reform and the peace process actually go hand in hand. And it is important, I think, to emphasise that those people and others in the room made the peace and made the policing change programme, and without those people we would not be here today celebrating our 15 years. 15 years on, policing remains a key part of the fabric of our society, and it continues to progress and evolve. However, in reflecting on the events that have transpired, we cannot forget the commitment and sacrifice that many made which to help us to get to where we are today. In the words of George Bernard Shaw, progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. I was going to say women are known for changing their minds regularly, so maybe women are more powerful in that respect. We would not have achieved what we achieved without the will of people to be prepared to change and to be prepared to change their minds, and I think we need to remember that as a starter. Change has happened and immense progress has been made. We now have strong accountability structures in place, and they are models of good practice, both nationally and internationally. We have a police service that is much more representative of the community, although we're not where we want to be just yet. There is full political support for policing, and we have a rights-based service that operates to the highest professional and ethical standards, and we need to be proud of that and celebrate that. Within the policing architecture, the board continues to have a key role to play. In holding the Chief Constable to account, we have a model of accountability that has stood the test of time. It is democratic and civic accountability that is essential for confidence building. That is essential for challenge and to an organisation that has access to very, very significant powers. In a democratic society, the police also need to be policed, and we only have to look at recent events in other places around the world to know why that is so very important. This seminar tonight has been designed to take the time to examine what has gone well, but also some of the unforeseen events that weren't planned, that weren't envisaged, and to examine changes within policing and within our community that now need our focus. We seldom ever celebrate the success of policing here, and I think it is very important that we do. You will see from the programme that Professor Richard English from Queen's and Dr. Egan Mulcahy from University College Dublin will shortly be providing some academic reflections on policing. I look forward to hearing from both Richard and Egan on their perspectives and their views, and indeed their challenges. Because I think it's very important, while it's nice to hear that people are doing a good job, and we like to hear that too, we do need to continually challenge ourselves and challenge others. Nothing should ever be taken for granted. So I want the discussion and the debate to be challenging, and indeed for people to challenge us, and I hope you will all take the opportunity to contribute, if not today, tomorrow. Policing has been a key tenet of our peace process and our political process. When politics weren't working very well, the PSNI and the board were getting on with it. But equally, as a community, we are absolutely delighted that we now have political stability. Having ministers from our executive with us this evening sends a strong message of support and leadership on policing, and we thank you for that support. I would also like to pay tribute to the officers and staff who serve our community. And I think it's very important to remember that on a daily basis, many of those officers risk their own lives to assist vulnerable people in times of distress. And that has to be remembered. But we also remember all of the officers who lost their lives or who have been injured in their service to the public. I also would like to pay tribute to the board members and the officers of the PSNI who in the early days truly defined the future and the shape of policing in Northern Ireland. That wasn't easy. We had a discussion today with the policing authority in the south who are starting off, and it brought back memories even for me of things that we were trying to do 5 years ago. So I have no doubt that when the early days, the board members and the PSNI had a lot to do to move things on. So congratulations to you for doing that. You truly did define the future and the shape of policing in Northern Ireland, and more recently have moved the debate forward to meet the new demands and the challenges facing the police service. But whether we're looking forward or looking back, there are fundamentals that have provided the cornerstone of our policing reform programme that we must reaffirm to protect. We can't afford to slip back. We can't afford to be complacent. Yes, we have done many good things and many things have moved, but we've still a lot more to do. There are also factors that focus our minds now that we hadn't even comprehended 15 years ago, or things that we didn't even know would shape or impact our society. There's the changing nature of crime. There's changing demands from the public. There's an increasingly complex technology, and more importantly, dwindling budgets, and all of that has to be faced as we move forward. So we do need to ensure that we properly resource policing to help the police service to meet the new demands and to make sure that they're able to protect our community from harm. A lot of good has happened, but now we want to take the opportunity not only to reflect, but to look forward in our discussion and redefine and, where necessary, reshape our service and the board for the future. Thank you.